Let's cover some of the images we saw. By the way, I didn't cover this in class, but we see SHIBA had a big move down back into the supply area after hitting its watch line. There's nothing really new, but a lot of supply on the lower side may indicate that we still need to check these areas to the low. And this is something that's very interesting. On the weekly chart, the line is still holding very beautifully, but if we look, there's a lot of supply still on the bottom. Even though the supply is draining up on the daily chart, we may still come back down and check it one more time just to check those lower lows closer to 25. I wouldn't be surprised for that. Let me just pull up that SHIBA here because it's a big one that a lot of people have been watching. And it looks like this. See? Nothing really new. The weekly chart looks great. Still in the support areas. But don't be surprised if we bring it to the lows. I'm still waiting for the watch line. On top of this tiger area is a very important area for me. I'm really bullish SHIBA. We need to begin the breakout. That's when the move will start. That's when it's really technically time to buy. But I can see accumulation happening on the support because I have tiger lines. All right, let's go back to what we learned. We looked at the crypto called CHR. We looked at the flow. We examined foundational energy centers. Drawing trend lines. We were trying to find the top on this crypto. Basically, we're trying to find this point up here. So we did a lot of things during today's tutorial to get there. We saw different parabolics along the journey on top of the larger phantom angles that we drew from class. We saw shorter term weakness coming in. We also saw shorter term health coming in. We saw small trades down to targets, took trades up and trades down during a mock practice. We found lots of new energy coming into the market, price sitting on top of phantoms. We knew we were finding times to buy and times to sell, and this was all just during our tutorial class. We also started looking at something new today, unusual ultra high volume, which we marked as UN. Volume that's way off the charts in an area of no man's land on up bars, not just an up move, okay, on an up bar, but just like in areas of no man's land, like buying on an up bar after the support is already in. Why is the buying coming in here at the top and not at the bottom on these down bars, not so heavy on the down bars? Although there was some. Why are we seeing ultra high volume in the middle of no man's land? That was a very clue that something's about to change. And then we finally looked on the monthly chart and we can see these up bars on ultra high volume was a big signal that their selling and distribution is beginning. Ultra high unusual up bars on up bars in an uptrend. And we looked at that. We had a big discussions about that. We started talking about those danger levels and where they are. And we still are looking at on them on CHR to this very day. Okay, professional selling. This is way higher than above average volume at the top of a market. That's something we're concerned about. Without any real support at this area, just being at a top, this is something to be concerned with. Okay, we looked at a crypto called ANKR. And on ANKR, we can see that ANKR is in a healthy territory by being on top of this area. That's a good sign for ANKR. It's on top of the phantom. We're at a target. We already hit that target, so this might be a good place to take profit if you were just in this crypto. Otherwise, we might be looking for a new entry. With ANKR, we can see in the past there was some heavy, big selling at the tops with some distribution along the red line, and that's going to be about this red line here. So there's a chance we may still get up to that area, and then we may want to take some profit there. There may be another trade if we break and build above those areas and have a reason to trade. But as it is, being here at the target zone, but also here is still bet bullish. Okay, I wouldn't be so bearish at the moment for ANKR without some big weaknesses appearing. But otherwise, we want to take the profit now. And us holding on to this area is a good sign for this current week that another trade may be beginning. We looked at GALA breaking on top of its phantom area. It's a good sign. We already saw that there was a big pump there, and price is still trying to hold on top of this white area, and that would be a good sign for GALA. Ultimately, I believe GALA is getting up to this target up here. Lots of reasons still to be bullish on GALA. Okay, we need another trade to begin the next trade, or for another entry, we need to be above this watch line and still be above this red line here. That would be a good area, a good sign and clue that we're still going up. Otherwise, if I have not yet bought GALA and I'm not already in profit, I don't want to buy it just yet. I want to buy it above here. Okay, above that watch line would trigger the next move. We looked at a crypto called DEAI, DEAI, and we can see flats at work. And when we see flats at work in one side, we look at flats in the other, or throughout the crypto. We see another flat resistance at the core here, and price building. Here's another flat and building. The next building would be if price comes down to 0.096 to 0.094. That's the area where we would be looking at this again. But we have very limited data for this crypto. It's a very new crypto. But as it is, we still want to be bullish until we're coming down. And it's very possible that the phantom, the key angle is here on the bottom. And therefore our phantom would be somewhere up here and our mid phantom somewhere about right here. That's what we can see based on the data. And that does match step ups as well. Okay, the first step up back here. We looked at the crypto called XDC. Over and over again, I still see a lot of weaknesses on XDC. We talked about all the reasons why there's a lot of selling going on after the fact, after weaknesses appeared. In context, there's selling happening right now. On the big up move, lots of ultra high volume both on this white bar here and the actual candle that tried to pump in here. So in context of this weakness, that's dangerous crypto. I don't want to trade XDC at the moment. We can see it. It looks more something like this. This is that candle. As we moved underneath this blue line, we're rounding at top 2 times, but on very high volume on both this up move right here and then this up move right here. Very high volume. This is very unusual. This is not buying coming in, because the buying would have happened in the support areas. It wouldn't have happened just here in no man's land. A similar thing that we saw to that other crypto we were looking at. This is a similar thing. This one is not healthy. Okay, it could be healthy, but at the moment it's more dangerous than it is, so it's more trouble than what it's worth. Okay, that's XDC. One day we'll time to buy XDC, but not right now. We can also see that the next weakness will appear on the daily chart if we go below this watch line here at the bottom. Get me below there, and we're going down. We'll probably go to some of the prophetic numbers like 0319 during these seasons if we cannot hold. We looked at BABYDOGE. BABYDOGE, after it broke out of its smaller watch line, had a very large pump. But the pump can't happen towards the top resistance area based on these foundational areas up all the way into here. The good news is that it hit exactly one of our tiger lines at core. And then we did another tiger line at wick. When we did that, the wick was an exact touch. And I thought that was interesting too. But so these tiger lines normally will act like stepping up points. What price does at those tiger lines usually is a good indication about what's going to happen next. Unfortunately, we hit the underside of them and price wasn't able to build. There is some smaller health though, beating the watch line, okay, which is here. Price making a big large move up, but coming down, sitting on top of that watch line, which would have been now the sword cut. Okay, so once we break above a watch line or a key angle very significantly in this case, you definitely want to make sure you draw a sword cut. And price is sitting just at that sword cut right now, and the price is somewhere around a lot of zeros, 19. Okay. In addition, we have new round action followed by a peak. We want to draw a new watch line, definitely connecting that round action, and that means if we break above this area, another area of health would appear. So I don't trust this crypto as a long term, but as a move from here to here might be worth your while. BABYDOGE. It could also do a very large move and give us a good surprise. It could definitely surprise us, but I do see a lot of selling here because there was big distribution on the up bar up movements. And this back-to-back down bar after the up bar on ultra high volume tells us there's a lot of selling that began in these areas. Look for them to test it again. They tested it once after this, after we came down, came back up to this area, and then we coming back into this area in the past couple of weeks, it's been tested again. This area on unusually ultra high volume, here's the average volume in white, or where that green line is, and then here's about where above average volume is, and here's very unusually high volume at the very top of the market. Tells us there's some selling going on. So I don't fully trust this crypto right here, BABYDOGE. I just don't. In my data, I don't. It could have a big movement, but the next health will be when we break this watch line, okay, on the daily chart. You can draw that, and once we're above there, we can have another up move. I would probably only trade it up to the blue line again, okay? Although it could probably go higher, I want to only take it to the blue line for me. I want a better entry. We looked at ETN. ETN having a break above its phantom area. That's a bullish thing. That's a bullish sign. We also examine the bottom with a pushing volume, still on ultra high on the down bar, followed by a back-to-back up bar on higher volume, both in ultra high territory. We can see this is therefore buying. So ETN on the monthly chart is still very bullish, and therefore this move up would be maybe just a normal push. The ETN having a down movement about right here, so we would need a push above this area. That makes sense. That would be natural. Current target is around 0.0118 cents. Current price is 0.006. So another 100% approximately left to go on this crypto. The next entry would be probably above this watch line. If price is able to get above this watch line, we got some nice round structures here that are building, but we need to get above that to trigger the next trade. So I'm a little bit leery buying right now. Otherwise, I want to try and get as close as I can to the bottom like we did last time. That would be good. This round action down here to the peak of the bottom of that round action, I would take that trade. So somewhere down here might be advisable, might be interesting, somewhere around what, 0.004 cents area, 0.04, 0.05. Current price being 0.07. Oh no, sorry. Current price being 0.06. I may want to wait for it to come down a little bit more. Okay. The lower support here is 0.048. If it fell today, we might be looking for support around there. We looked at a crypto called COQ. It's one we've been looking at. Today we did a new map based on flats. We can see some shorter term weaknesses appearing past this pink line. That would have been a possible watch line. And we can see that we're still in this downtrend, but by identifying the flats, we can see that there's support somewhere in this blue range, and the prices are somewhere around 5039 to 5035. And that's pretty interesting. But there's a watch line that is really strong, and that means that we're really going to need a break above there before the next buy trade. So otherwise, we can just accumulate somewhere near the bottom. And we are on top of an old flat from a while back ago, following this blue area. If you take that blue line and go back into the past, you'll see some more support. We also see that the supply is draining on the downside, so that is a good sign. So even though there was short-term weaknesses that came into this crypto, we can see a new watch line, and we can see where the move should resume up. In the meantime, we're just bouncing around with draining supply. That's a good sign that we're headed in the right direction and that price is still going to go up. We are still within the uptrend and still within the foundational line, which is here in yellow. So as long as we're above this territory, we can still be looking to trade. But if we are on this side of the trade, it may be a sign of weaknesses, and therefore price can have a harder time trying to get up, because then we're going to have to try to fight against the upper yellow line, and I don't want to do that. We want to have this move before we cross into weakness area. Otherwise, there's not a real good reason for the professional money to buy it on this side when they'll lose their power play. They're going to be buying it before here. So if you see a lot of buying on this side of that line, something might be wrong. It might be the start of a distribution phase, especially if it goes up after the fact. We'll be looking for prices to come down in the future, if that's the case. But if we get the breakout now, that'll be very healthy. COQ. The other good things about COQ is we can see band energy at work. After the first initial parabolic breakout, price came nice and round, did not exactly hit the sword cut, but maybe closer to the wick side. And that's a very good sign for this crypto. Very bullish, but hard to catch that bottom. unless we had some other reasons why we want to buy at that bottom. But right now, the reason I'm really mentioning is because if we look at that bottom and we look at it relationship to the band, okay, we can see price had a very large move up, but now price pulled back a little bit. RSI pulled back really hard. So the band energy is RSI pulling back and gonna fire price. Okay, when the rubber band pulls back, it's gonna fire the opposite crypto. Let me give you an example. This is I'm not explaining it correctly because I've done this in a tutorial. If the band pulls back and price only pulls a little bit, the band will fire price. If price pulls back and the indicator only pulls back a little bit, the price will fire the indicator. These work in tandem. But I'm looking at the RSI pulling back right now and price pulling back a little bit. Therefore, the move is going to be on price. And therefore, we're going to see price move quite a bit is what I would expect. I would expect price to pull back quite a bit, as well as that old flat I mentioned is basically where price is building on top right now. So this is overall very bullish thing, and I expect COQ to actually break out above here. If you want to risk it for the biscuit, but you can accumulate some now. Otherwise, you'll just accumulate after the breakout. It's a much more safer trade. Okay. All right, so that's COQ. And on the 12-hour chart, I can see also more recent band energy coming in, which means we should be looking for a more immediate up move, maybe within the week, maybe within the next 2 weeks. We'll see another challenge back up to the top. A lot of reasons why this move isn't over. These up and downs in here. Okay. And again, there's a highlight of a weakness territory. And the last thing I did on COQ is I drew this uptrend here, followed by a mid phantom with the step up on the low side of 3.3. So it's very possible that might be where we're playing at in this area. And then here was our final CHR charts. I was able to draw a new map for CHR with step ups matching these supports and resistances. It's very possible if CHR were to do really good, it'd be 699 as the high. But again, seeing that heavy distribution on the volume, I'm not really much expecting anything past 96 cents in this time and season. We may come down, and then maybe there's another challenge later in the future, but I wouldn't trust CHR past 96 cents. I think there's better options. All right, and that was all the cryptos for today as a recap. Thank you guys for joining. Remember, everything in this video is not financial investment or trading advice of any kind. Everything is just for entertainment, educational, and comedic purposes only. I eat red crayons for breakfast. Trading in the markets carries substantial risk. Never trade more than you can afford to lose, and especially be aware against high leverage trading. And have a great day, guys. We'll be back on Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.